Hi everyone, my name is Mary Beth. Welcome to my channel. So I'm actually shooting this a second time. I even had my dog in the last one to introduce you to my dog Mac. But it somehow had a square in the middle of my screen. So I'm doing this over, but I already pulled some cards. So the question is, the question we're asking is, what's it going to take to master this twin flame journey? What's it going to take? What do we have to do to master this twin flame journey? So I'd already pulled some cards that came out, and the first card that came out was Golden Palace reversed. The second card that came out was Cleaning House upright. And the third one is Goblins upright. Okay, so what this is saying is, so the Golden Palace, this is about prosperity, and look how I've made it. I have this beautiful palace on the cliff, and look at how well off I am, and I'm just so happy, and everything's going great, right? So it is reversed. So in order to but in order to successfully achieve this twin flame journey, part of it is even when you're not there yet, right? So let's just say you don't have everything you want. Let's just say you don't have this golden palace, right, on a cliff overlooking the ocean, right? Yeah, well, it's still having the feeling that you are, right? So it's still, no matter where you're at, it's like you're really enjoying life. It's like knowing that I'm already in a really great place. So whatever it is that wherever you're at, it's almost like understanding that you're already prosperous, and that you're already free, and that you're already doing well. And well, how do you do that, Mary Beth? how do you how do you feel like you're in a golden palace when you're not, right? How do you feel like you're in this state of mind? So one of the things they say is clean house. That could mean actually clean your house, right? But in my mind, a lot of this has to do with cleaning out your energy. A lot of it has to do with energy work. A lot of this has to do with, it can be about feng shuiing, right? Cleaning out, and it's still energy. So if you have a lot of clutter in your life, and it could be in so many areas, right? There's just so many. It could just be your computer itself has a lot of clutter. It could be your house itself, your closets. And a lot of it has to do with energy. Maybe it needs to, maybe you need to sage your house. Maybe you need to clean out your own chakras. But cleaning house is a huge one in successfully mastering this twin flame journey, right? So the question is, what is it going to take to master this twin flame journey? So whatever this means to you with cleaning house, again, this could be spring cleaning your house. That would be one step. A lot of it is cleaning out your own cobwebs in your own energy. And however else I do it through emotion code, that's just me, but there are many ways to do that. Now, the other part of how to master your twin flame journey is to accept your shadow side. This card came out last week, if I remember correctly. And so what does that mean? Very difficult. This is a very difficult part of the twin flame journey. Okay, I think you know this. It's accepting all parts of yourself, right? Everything, and it's so easy to accept. It's so easy to say, oh yeah, we're all one, we're in unity, and I'm in unity with that person and that person and that thing and that situation, because it's light. But that's really not being in all oneness, is it? All oneness is actually being in oneness with everything, not just what's light, but also what is dark. And I think for a lot of us, we started off that way, where we had no problem being in oneness with the dark. But you don't really notice that you're in the dark, right? Because you're living a certain way, and you don't even notice that you're sick all the time, or that you're stressed all the time, or that you're kind of not really that happy, and you just keep asking, well, what is happiness, and how can I be happy? Right? And then when you do realize, oh, you don't want to stay in this situation, or you don't want to stay in this and you don't even know it's called the shadows, right? Because that's why it's called the shadows, because it's kind of hidden from you. You start to see the light, right? And then you think, oh, that's where I want to be, the light. And I want to be all oneness with the light and nothing dark, right? Anything that's shadowy, I want nothing to do with, and I need to just avoid, avoid, avoid like the plague. And then your twin flame comes in, and what is your twin flame, right? Your twin flame is your shadow. What do you mean, Mary Beth? Well, your twin flame is mirroring back to you every shadow possible. And so now the job is this, is to actually clean house, right? Because it's like, well, how do I heal from that? Well, a lot of it is energy. A lot of it has to do with inner child work. A lot of it has to do with the wounds, traumas that we've had in the past that we just actually never healed from. And so a lot of it is that, well, however you do it, I can never tell people how to do that, right? That your soul will let you know. Your soul communicates to you through emotions. That's how your soul communicates to you. It's not really the avatar. It's not really your body that's emotional. It's your soul. And so your soul's going to communicate to you what triggers you. And if it triggers you, it's going to be a couple of meanings here. It's going to mean A, hey, this is a part of you haven't healed yet. Or B, so let's just say, you don't care about it. Like you don't think, oh, that's, so let's just say someone talks about, oh, this famous movie star and how successful they are and blah, blah, blah. And you're thinking, ugh. And you're just kind of triggered by it, just like, ugh, I don't want to hear about this person and blah, blah, blah. And at the same time, it may not be because you have this inner wound that's based on this person. It may just be your soul's talking to you through emotions, because let's say it's this one movie star and you're just like, oh, how interesting. Let me hear more. I want to hear how, the story. And that's because your soul's saying, yeah, that's the right, this is something you need to learn from. This is something good. Go ahead and listen. Or if your soul's like, no, we don't need to focus on that. No, we're not. It's almost like you just kind of know where you're just like, oh, okay, and you just kind of you don't need, because it's going to somehow take you in the wrong direction. It might deplete you in some way, or it might make you feel bad about yourself in some way, or something like that, right? But at the same time, being aware that, in all honesty, in oneness, that is me, right? That movie star is already me. It's a part of me. We're all one. Okay. And so, but that again, it's not just the light parts of you, it's the dark parts of you as well. And so it's just this awareness of every time every time I get triggered, which I still do, and sometimes I just say to myself, why though? Like I don't even know why I'd get triggered over that. And then I just say to myself, well, I am that. I just start saying that. I'm like, well, I already am that. Like there's nothing to get triggered about. There's nothing to get upset about. I already, it doesn't have to be a person. It could be a complete situation or a thing that will trigger me. And I'll say, well, I am that thing. And then it just dissipates. And then my soul's like, oh yeah, very true. So it's really embracing your shadows and not thinking like you're better than anyone else or in a higher place than anyone else. Because trust me, when you do that, you get knocked right back down. Every time you think so, like for instance, I teach on this and I'm thinking, wow, I really cleansed all of my emotions. I mean, well, yes, I've cleansed all of my trapped emotions. I'm doing really well. I'm in a much peaceful place. What makes everyone else angry doesn't make me angry. So what started happening for me? I started getting out of balance again because I had other entities coming in. I swear to God, I had a light bulb that was flashing in and out, and a psychic told me that the portal opened, and I literally had all these entities that were afraid to cross over. And next thing I know, I'm expected to help them cross, and they're coming inside of me. They're hijacking my body, and I'm going way out of balance. I'm feeling way out of balance, and I was really mad too. I was like, this can't be happening. And then I realized, it's probably a reason for this. It's like I'm not supposed to always be in balance, right? Like that's not being unearthed. Like you don't you need challenges in life, right? Like you just can't be unchallenged and just be balanced all the time. You need challenges. Like that's the whole reason for being here. That's the whole fun of it, right? So that's the shadows, and the shadows is actually the driver, and it's actually what makes us awaken the fastest. It makes us get to it helps us bounce even higher, or I should say expand. It's the shadows that make us expand. When you're sitting in the light and you're sitting in peace and you're sitting in joy, you're doing really well, but you're not expanding as much as with the darkness. The darkness helps you to expand more. So that's why you need to welcome your goblins. And I really enjoy that perspective that I was given about welcoming challenges. You're supposed to be challenged. Life can get boring without it, and frankly, the soul might check out if you do just stop having challenges, because then it's like, oh, boring. It's all like, oh, okay, well, so like if you lay in bed all day, right, and you don't challenge yourself, the soul's probably just going to check out. Soul's going to be like, well, we came here to learn stuff, but you're not really learning anymore. Anyway, let's ask this other deck, shall we? So we're asking, what is it going to take? What is it going to take to master this twin flame journey? So already we have cleaning house, organizing is very important. Feng shui could be part of it, right? Spring cleaning out your own energy. However it is you do that, whatever works for you. And really making friends with your shadow side. How do you do that, Mary Beth? Well, when you notice in other people, accept that part of them. It's almost like that. Well, that is the role they're supposed to play. If, let's say someone's mean to you, just think to yourself, well, that's the role they're supposed to play. They signed up for this contract. I signed up for this contract. That doesn't mean be a doormat. Oh, hell no. Don't be a doormat. But at the same time, don't not forgive them, because then you're just hurting yourself, right? So when it comes to the shadows, just understand that we all signed up, and God unconditionally loves all of us no matter what happens, right? No matter what trauma happened. But let's get 3 more cards, right? 3 more cards. How else for the collective? What is it going to take to master this twin flame journey? What's it going to take? 3 cards. What's it going to take? It's going to take 3 cards to master this twin flame journey, please. Ooh, wow, look at this. Okay, so the first card is the Storyteller. Now it came out reverse, so it came out like that. So basically the Storyteller, I'm kind of a storyteller where, you tell stories through experience, right? So you have all these experiences and you share it, and that's what you're supposed to do, right? You have all these experiences and you learn from it and you share it with others, and maybe someone can get something out of it, right? Maybe not the whole thing, or maybe it's just entertaining, right? So what's interesting is that this came out reversed. So the shadow attribute is making up tales that harm others. Okay, interesting. So it's almost like what they're telling me is like, try to watch out for that, because what's going on is that we make up things in our heads, and really what's going on is, and I know this is going to sound super strange, but it's really our souls that are pushing our emotions in a certain way. Because what we'll do is a certain emotion will come into us, right? And right away we'll try to attach it to something, right? We're like, well, I'm pissed, or I'm really sad, or I'm really yearning for my twin flame, or whatever it is, right? And if you could just separate yourself from the emotion for a second, and I know it's kind of cheating, but it's really what's helped me by the biggest long shot. I don't know if that's the right wording, but it helped me the most. Once I started separating myself from the emotions and I started to understand that my emotions were my soul and that my soul was communicating something to me, I was misinterpreting my emotions. And I think everyone does. And so we get these emotions and unless something, and even then, right, even when something happens and you get triggered right away from that particular, so you have a response to something, that's probably a bit more you having a reaction, but at the same time it's still the soul, but the soul's telling you I have a reaction to this, but not because of the reason you think it's because that person said that or did that thing, when really the reason why the soul reacted in that emotion was because of something that happened, when you're age 3 or maybe even a past life. And so when I started to understand that, I started doing inner child work. I really started to separate myself from the emotions, and I realized, am I actually longing for my twin flame? I don't know if I actually am, because I dated my twin flame, and my twin flame and I wasn't really a good match, and obviously, my twin flame mirrored back my shadows. Didn't mean to, and I did the same back. I mean, by a lot. I could tell. I really took him down. I could tell. We both took each other down, and it was because we were mirroring back these shadows, these inner wounds, and the emotions that were huge. The emotions were, whew. I did more crying in my dating my twin flame than any other time in my entire life while we were dating. Not when we weren't, but when we were. And so that is just the emotion, that is just the soul talking to you through emotions. And so what happens is we end up making up something to try to attach to the emotions when it's not even correct, is what I'm getting. I don't know why it's so blurry. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, so like for instance, let's say again you feel like you're longing for your twin flame. Okay, what I started doing was I started to turn it around. I started longing for myself. I know it sounds weird, but I just started doing that, and I just started longing for my soul. And then I came to the conclusion. I said, I think I'm feeling my soul longing for me, because I don't really have any communication. I'm not really close to my soul. I know there is a soul, but I wouldn't say I have a personal relationship with my soul. And so when I started doing that, the whole longing just started to dissipate. So it's almost like, but that's just an example. Like there's so many emotions that we'll have, and then I'll have to stop myself. I'm like, why am I having that emotion? What does that even have to do with? And then I'm like, I usually don't get mad over something like that. Like I think one time someone didn't say goodbye to me, and I usually I that's not something that normally triggers me. And all of a sudden, it just started triggering me that this person didn't say goodbye, and I'm like, why is this all of a sudden bothering me? This person didn't say goodbye, and then I had to really think through, and I really had to kind of talk to my soul to figure out what this trigger was, to realize. Now, this happened recently that it wasn't even mine. I had an entity that came in that was just like, oh man, can you believe that person? And then, I'm thinking to myself, oh man, you need to be integrated. You need to cross. Okay. So, yeah. So try to separate that. That's going to be hard. That's kind of a, you have to work up to that. You just have to do it like, if you could do it like 2% of the time, right? Then you work up to maybe 10% of the time, and then maybe work up to 50% of the time. Like little by little this is what I've been doing. Like I was saying to myself, I'm like, am I at least doing this 10% of the time? And as long as I was doing at least 10%, I was so happy with myself. I'm like, it's at least 10%. Because it's not easy to do 100% because we're so programmed to think, oh, emotions hit, and then we just create a story. Oh, I'm so sad. I must be because of that. I must hate my job. Or like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'm so depressed. It must be about my job, And it's like, and not necessarily at all. That might not be the case whatsoever. You have to really figure out why am I depressed, and does this really have to do with my job, and why am I correlating that, and what is it really, and then your soul's like, well, it's really not about your job, like the soul's like, I'm just making you feel, I'm just feeling depressed because it's been a while since we've did some boot camp, or it's been a while since we've meditated, or like I needed, I think we need to change our diet, and so that's what I think. It's not like making up story about, I mean, or it could be, or if you feel that you do make up stories about other people, but I don't think that's what this is about. Anyway, that's a long explanation about that card. Anyway, so the next one is Knight. Now, Knight is reversed. Okay, so this is about loyalty, romance, chivalry, a love of honor. Okay, so it's reversed. It's about romantic delusions, right? So how do we master this twin flame journey? It's just not to be that delusional about romance. Really, it's your own self-love that's being mirrored back to you, because we're all one. Really, there is no, oh, I need you to complete me, right? That's not a thing. That's more like the soul needs you to complete it, right? The soul's like, oh, I need you to complete me, right? Because we're one. You're the avatar. I'm the soul. Like, you're the mind. You're the ego, which is not a bad thing, by the way. The ego is beautiful, especially as you deprogram it and release more and more trapped emotions. The subconscious mind and the ego are kind of one of the same, in my opinion. It's a beautiful thing. It's the divine feminine. It's the darkness. And the darkness is good. that is part, remember, that is part of the mastering this, right? So it's not having, so the twin flame is not about, it's a different template, right? It's not this template of relationship of, oh, I put this person on a pedestal and I feel so completed when they're near me or when they're with me. And what you just did was you just gave away the farm, right? Like, you just like put your heart into someone else's pocket, right? Now it's like, oh, they just left. Uh-oh, they're off my timeline. Like, I couldn't see them even if I wanted to. They're just not even on my timeline anymore. And I'm telling you, that's exactly what happens. Like, they literally leave your timeline. I guess not for everyone, for some of us. And so what happens is you have to kind of you have to create a new template of love. And what that ends up being is you have to turn to yourself and do more of a self-love. And what happens is what's really wonderful. It's like, now nobody holds the key to your happiness. No one has your key. You have your key, right? So no matter who walks out, no matter who leaves, no matter who says goodbye, you're still happy. You didn't say, oh man, I was so happy, and now that person left and that person had my happiness? What? So that's giving away your sovereignty. So how to, master this twin flame journey is to not have those type of, not to have an allegiance towards the sense of fairy tale, of romance, of this person's going to take care of me, which, by the way, doesn't happen. When you do end up with your twin flame, your job is to remain sovereign. They don't like necessarily take care of you. Okay. Maybe in some aspects, but yeah. It's not really how it works. You really are really relying on your soul is what really happens. Okay, and the last one, which is upright, is the Messiah. Now, the Messiah says serving humanity with humility. So that's another way to master your twin flame journey. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, we all have gifts, right? And the soul's letting us know what they are. And when it's things that you've really worked hard on and you really feel you've mastered, and you feel like, hey, this is serving me. It may or may not serve others, right? But you just share it, right? And really, you're doing it with humility, right? Like for instance, when I first started doing this YouTube channel, I was very much in the third dimensional paradigm. I really wasn't balanced in my divine feminine, divine masculine yet, but I knew I had to be, and I knew I was at least 10% there. Like I just kept checking. It really took me a while to get there. And then after a while I just realized, oh, I'm doing something on my channel that really isn't really service. Is it really serving humanity, or was it really just appeasing? Right? Was I just appeasing where I was just doing the DMDF update, energy update, which appeased people, but does it really help people? And did it get me a lot of subscribers? It did. It got me a lot of subscribers. And did it get me a lot of customers? It really did. It got me a lot of customers. It got me a lot of nice emails. I was freaking busy. And then I just stopped because I realized that, I don't think I'm really in the right direction because of the emotions that kept hitting me every time I was ready to do my YouTube channel. The emotions would just deplete. I felt depleted. And I realized I'm going in the wrong direction here. And I had to take a break and I had to leave my YouTube channel and come back and say, okay, my soul, what's the direction? How am I supposed to be serving humanity with humility? And now that I'm doing this, this way, I'm not experiencing the same experience, right? Like I'm not experiencing the whole getting a lot of subscribers, getting a lot of customers and stuff like that. But at the same time, my soul is super happy. And my soul is like, this is what's serving humanity. And whoever's ready to listen will, and this is what will help people. Before it wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, it kind of, I mean, it did. It did help people because I tried so hard to push it in such a way, but at the same time appeasing because I felt like, oh, you don't do a YouTube channel without trying to get subscribers. Like what's the sense of that? And then I got myself out of that perspective and I said I could do a YouTube channel without getting new subscribers. I actually can. I mean, and here's the thing. Here's the weird part. When you serve humanity with humility, it comes back in another way. It may not come back in that particular avenue. Like you may have your own YouTube channel and you may not get it back in that particular way, but you will in another way. Like it'll like that come like whatever you give does come back to you in a super duper excellent surprising way. That's the best way I could put it. And life is happier and more joyous. And then even when I think about what I was doing on my YouTube channel, I remember my soul would just be like, ugh, I don't want to, but I don't want to. It wasn't even fun for me. Like I wasn't even having fun. And so this way, it's just more. So. But I like what the shadow is saying too. The shadow is saying exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. And that's not true, right? It's like you're just a piece of the puzzle and you're just helping humanity in the way you know how, right? Like I knowingly was doing the DMDF energy update, knowing that was addictive, right? Knowing that people needed to know what their twin flame wanted them to know. And to me, like that's not being a good person. It's just not. Like that's not to me. For me, it didn't feel very good because I knew it was addicting. And so when I started to do this, it's true. Like no one learns because I'm the Messiah, right? Because I'm a guru or because I'm here to give you all the answers. No, I'm here to teach you and tell you that your soul does. Your own soul has your answers. I don't have your answers. All I do is translate the cards, right? And share my experiences, right? And maybe it'll help you or maybe it won't. So that's servicing humanity with humility. That's just an example. So whatever you do, and I'm so in awe of people who they go to soup kitchens and I don't even know. People are just so giving with their time, there's just so many ways you can just serve. Like if you see your neighbor needs help, you just go over and ask your neighbor, oh, can I help you with that? That's what my significant other always does. just very like, oh, what can I do to help? Blah blah blah. And so it's just simple. It's not like big. Like you're not here to be a big star and be a messiah. And no, it's just to master this journey is to be simple about it and serve humanity. And the soul and God and the angels are so thankful that they serve you too. It's like you just get served, and it's just incredible. Anyway, I know I went very long. It's 30 minutes. I do apologize, but I hope that helped, and I do hope you enjoyed that reading, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.